and all the fields was covered in snow, and winter come severely. As I was walking on my way, I met a farmer's daughter, with cherry cheek and glittering eye. She made me mouth to water. This girl, where was she going? Up in the morning early. She answered to the next market town, on purpose to sell her barley. Now in me pocket as well I knew half a sovereign lay squarely. I said, put your journey out of your mind, and I'll bargain for your barley. Sovereign would buy delight, and I would love you dearly, if you would stay with me all night, and be gone in the morning early. If I should stay all night with you, when we made a young kid together, oh, you'd be gone ere the 9th then, and then where would I find a father? She would be my queen, and I would never wrong her. She said she knew I'd married been for 7 years or longer. So now, young man, be on your way, and do your business fairly. Keep your money for your wife at home, and some other shall have me barley.
Cold and Raw from the album A Long Time Travelling, the second Jolly Jack album on Fellside Records, and that's FEO 67. Martin Hall, Alan Taylor and Dave Weatherall, welcome to Folk Like Us.
Good evening.
Right.
Good evening.
We've waited to have you on for a long time, and here you are at last. Your turn's come. Your name's out of the hat.
Yes, yes.
And you're here now.
We went on nights, isn't it?
Now then, the long-awaited follow-up, as I said before. Now, I remember asking you about 2 years ago. I think it was actually you that was talking to Alan outside the Star Inn in Salford, and I remember saying to you, whether you had a follow-up in the pipeline, and you said most emphatically yes. Now, this is 2 years later that it's actually finally come to light. Now, most groups after a debut album are itching to get the next one out. Why the 5-year gap?
Well, I think 5 years sounds a long time, but to us, in fact, I don't think it is a long time. We've been working pretty steadily on the folk scene in clubs, and apart from the clubs, we've been raising a number of children between us too, which takes up a fair amount of time. And I think the time just came a year or so ago when we were starting to put together enough songs to make an album up. And, well, that was the start of the thing, really, and we were talking to Paul Adams, the producer at Fellside. Been a good friend of ours for a long time, and he was quite keen for us to get back into the studio, and it started from there. And we put a couple of tracks down about 12 months ago, was it, Alan? Something like that.
Yeah, about that.
And gradually built up over a number of months the tracks that we thought we wanted to do. Some old ones as well as some pretty new stuff to us. But it's all fairly traditional in its format, as usual. And that's the way it went.
Now, funnily enough, actually, I only met Paul Adams for the first time at the Kendal Folk Festival, bank holiday, August bank holiday. And a very nice chap as well, I must say. How did you find him to work with?
A very competent bloke. He gives you plenty of confidence. He certainly knows what he's doing on the board. One thing we found with him, he's very reluctant to give an opinion at the time, which at the time you don't think is very good, but afterwards it's excellent because you don't get swayed by any outside influence.
That's right. You're not pressured in any way to follow what he wants to do, and so that enabled us to fight and to fall out and generally, get the things together the way that we normally work, without being led down any particular path, and we got everything right.
So it's fairly easy going in the lectures to get on with it.
So, it worked out very well over a couple of weekends. But in actual fact, working that way, I thought we worked pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's difficult with three people when they're putting something down together. There's usually a point in the recording that two are happy and one is not happy.
That's right.
And I think if the producer took sides, then it may allow something to go through which you didn't want. But,
excellent, really. Excellent engineering. We're very pleased with the engineering. We were on the first album, and I think everyone who heard the first album did say that to us, that whether you like the album or not, it was excellently produced, and it was a good sound, and we liked it anyway.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. I mean, it's FEO 67 years? Is it?
That's
60?
right. 10 years, in fact. We did
course,
we did an anniversary album, or part of an anniversary album, a year or so ago. So that's how long it is.
And we know he's Onions now. And of course, he used to do a bit of broadcasting, I think, on Radio Cumbria.
that's right.
Now then, I remember Martin and Alan, you've been playing for some time as a duo, haven't you? I remember you as residents at the Duke of York and Eccles. I don't know whether you want me to bring this up or not. But,
Well, I don't. I tore my membership card up actually on leaving.
Yeah, that's when Martin was 15. At Stone, I think it was, wasn't it?
I was led astray by you, Alan, I think.
Yes.
That's what it was.
I remember those balmy nights. BALMY, that is. Oh no, BARMY. I think that fits the bill just as well. I remember seeing you those. I mean, you had a good time there, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
It was a totally different sound act, whatever you want to call it, than it is now. I mean, it was more for a laugh, wasn't it, than anything?
I think we were learning then.
Yeah.
I'd been in the pop scene for a long time, and I'd always had,
Really?
I always had a liking for folk music, and whenever I could, I used to sing and play. And we used to run a singers club down in Unsworth, just through Whitefield there, at a pub called the Roach Bank. And Martin turned up one night.
Changed your life, didn't it?
It sure did.
So how did you get together with Alan? How did you come on the scene, Alan?
Well, funnily enough,
No, you mean Dave?
Sorry, Dave.
Yes, all right,
I'm
Mike. It's
sorry.
okay, Mike. I am
You've
the
been
smallest
called
one,
worse,
but
well, Fred,
well, I've been doing one or two solo spots around for quite a number of years. I was a
moved
regular
away
at the old Manchester Sports Guild clubs,
Oh,
and so I've been singing now for about 25 years in folk clubs, and I'm the traditional one amongst us, I suppose.
Do you
And
want
I
a blue
just,
Peter badge?
Well, I met Martin one night in a pub, and we were talking about folk music, and we decided just to have a few beers and a practice, and then I discovered that he was singing with Alan, and Jolly Jack were formed. It was as simple as that, really, and we've gone downhill ever since.
Yeah, but never looked back since. Never looked back. Right, then we'll...
And who will plough the fields now? And who will sell the corn? And who will watch the sheep now? And have them neatly shorn? The stark lads in the haggard, unthrashed it may remain, since Johnny's gone a thrashing, the dirty king of Spain. And the girls from the Bonog in sorrow may retire, and the piper and his bellows may go home and blow the fire. Since Johnny, lovely Johnny, he's bound in all the main, along with all the patriots, to fight the King of Spain. And the boys will sorely miss him when money more comes round, and they'll grieve that their brave captain, he's nowhere to be found. And the peelers must stand idle against their will and grain, since Johnny, the lad who gave them work, now peels the King of Spain. And at wakes and hurling matches, your likes we'll never see, until the day you come home again, a storing Old Macree. Aye, and won't you trounce the bookings that showed us much disdain, because our eyes are not as bright as those you'll meet in Spain. And if cruel fate will not permit our Johnny to return, his heavy loss we Bantry girls will never cease to mourn. We'll resign ourselves to our sad lot and die in grief and pain, since Johnny died for freedom in the foreign land of Spain.
Lovely version there of the Bantry Girls' Lament, and that one's from Jolly Jack, who, if you've only just joined me, are my guests here on Folk Like Us tonight. I'm Mike Billington, and you're listening to BBC Radio Manchester 95.1, 14:58 AM, and it's just 10 seconds short of 26 minutes past 8 o'clock. Right then, Alan, I asked you before, didn't I? How long have you been together?
I think 11 years now. Well, 12 years, Dave informs me with his
12
fingers.
years. My goodness. Now then, Dave, you he of the fingers. I thought, did you call him Fingers because of his concertina playing?
Not really.
Fingers Weatherall.
No,
I think he got a better tune out of him with his feet.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you were telling me recently that you all have different tastes in music. What sort of music do you all go in for individually?
Well, I like traditional English music, and I always have done, and
Always will do.
that's the way I am, because that's the thing I can do. I don't seem to be able to do much else.
Fits his
I
face.
keep trying, but we're trying very hard to get Alan out of his American phase at the moment, which is, as you can see, there's a few American songs on the album, which are really good, but he's got carried away a bit with it. Martin is the musician amongst us and likes tunes.
You didn't say that last time.
So the rumours are false then, are they?
I think for a big guy, Mark's very dexterous.
You didn't say that last time.
What sort of music do you like, Martin?
Anything at all. So as long as it's good, in the folk scene, I suppose the traditional English stuff appeals most. Big leaning towards Irish, Scottish, anything at all.
What about getting away from the folk idiom? What do you like? I mean, you don't like opera and pop, do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I could probably recite the top 20 at any given time. Reggae.
Should we ask him now,
opera,
lads? No?
Anything at all, yes.
Good idea. I've got a fiver here, Martin.
Yes, well, it's all right. Is it the white one?
I think you love the Muppets, don't you?
The Muppets too, yes. Very good, very good.
With you being together for 12 years, have you had many arguments over that period?
Oh, yes, about 11 years of the 12, really.
That's not true. No, we're very serious about what we try and do, and obviously we all have the individual ideas of how things should be. But I think eventually we get it thrashed out and we put a good thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And we do fall out occasionally, but it's nothing really serious.
There'd be something wrong if you didn't, probably, wouldn't there? Now, did you have many fallings out over choosing the material and most specifically what actually went onto the album?
No, it tends to be very easy. When you actually get down to making an LP, it becomes apparent very quickly what can and can't go on. Material that would go down well in a spot at a club, as soon as you get down to the sort of cold light of a music room in a studio, it just doesn't work. So
I think we very quickly found that out. Didn't we? We did try a couple of tracks, that you think are really good in folk clubs that move along quite well. But as Martin says, as soon as you get it down on tape and you listen to it again, I think you can cringe sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's the visual aspect of some songs which comes over in live performances that you of course can't get down on albums. So it's difficult to...
Unless you brought out a video.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think I think we must say we must be one of the least photogenic folk groups on the scene, and anyone who buys the album, and I hope everyone will, they'll see the picture on the front of the album. And,
well, that's funny you should say that, because on the first album I don't think there was a picture of you anywhere, and yet on this album you've got yourselves on twice.
it's not quite true that there was individual photographs on the back.
Oh yes, of course there was. Yes, sorry.
I always regretted that because my wife actually took those photographs and my toupee wasn't on straight.
But I think the new album sleeve is much to do with me, because I think it's time we put our faces on the front of these things. Then people really know who we are.
Yeah, your face look okay, just yeah. But you could have ironed your trousers all the time.
Thanks, Mike.
I hope the wives are not listening.
Oh, don't you iron your own?
Oh, do I? No.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, let's get off you for a minute. Regular listeners to the programme will know sort of my liking for music from other climates, and well, I think it's only fair to give a smattering of world music, especially with its popularity. What do you think of all this interest in music from across the waters and all over the place?
I think it's really good. I've got a tape at the moment, courtesy of John Cartain, although he doesn't know it.
You nicked it out of his car, did you?
Well, sort of, yeah. The Ladysmith Black Mombasa, and that is really good music, that. I mean, the singing is so powerful. I don't think you can categorise music, people that tend to say I like folk, I like pop, I like this, it just doesn't work. If it's good, I mean, you can't help but like it.
Mm. Now, I believe that you, Alan, are the globe-trotter of the group when you're not playing with the band. You've sung far afield, haven't you?
Yeah, my second interest in life is in business, and wherever I go in the world, I do try and find clubs where I can sort of stand up and sing. And I think
Got to go a long way, really, haven't you?
even if you go to Tokyo in Japan, you can find small singing clubs where you can get up and do your little bit. And I was accused by one set of Japanese gentlemen of being professional because I sang to them and sang some of the songs which I would sing in England, and they really enjoyed it. And I actually sold a few copies of our first album into the Japanese market, so that's quite an achievement, I think.
My goodness me.
They do actually make good wax, though, for this.
I don't know, the one that's spinning around today looks quite flat, mind you. It's a bit hot in here, so you never know, by the end of the programme it might resemble more like a watt than anything else. Anyway, the reason why I ask you about that is that we're just coming up to our foreign offering of the night. I'm losing my way here, yes. The Kamarash, have you heard of them, the Hungarian band? They're really good. They're actually doing a few dates in the country at the moment, and I saw them at the Irish World Heritage Centre in Cheetham Hill last week, and they're really superb. Very, very versatile band who play about 20 to 30 instruments. They're actually on at the High Lane Conservative Club in Disley tonight. It's 8:30, well, 32 minutes past 8 now, so it might be a bit too late for most of you to get out to go and see that one. But if anyone's in Disley and they're getting a bit bored with this programme, they can nip out now.
Shall we go, boys?
What, to Disley? Right then. Back to Jolly Jack. Here we go. Many people have tried and failed to run a folk club. Now, you actually have been involved in a few, haven't you? What do you think is the recipe for a successful club? Apart from having a good group like you as residents. An audience, yes, I like that one.
Yes. Well, we've tried both ways of running clubs that we thought were quite good. We've run a small club on a weekly basis, which we ran at the Wagon in Milnrow for a long time. And that was okay because it was small and fairly easy. Difficult to get guests to come down for very little money, but you use a few favours up that way. And we've also worked on monthly clubs and with bigger audiences, which seem to be working pretty well for us at the moment.
Do you think things have picked up this last year or two?
I
Because
think they have, yes.
clubs went through a dreadful time, didn't they, not so very long ago?
Yeah, I think the interest is back again. I think people are getting out to clubs more, and there's more interest generally. People stop you in the streets and say, "Hi, how are you going on? Have you got a club tonight, or have you got a date anywhere? We can come down and see you." So there's definitely more happening. Do you find that, Mark?
I think the circumstances of the time as well, people are, touch wood, slightly more affluent these days, so folk clubs tend to be a place to go to when there's a bit more money about, for some reason.
Yeah.
That happened a lot in the 60s, so I'm told.
Yeah, he is a child of the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be just a little bit controversial at the moment, because I know that you sort of mainly hail from the north side of Manchester, or am I wrong there?
That's
You're
about
more,
right, yeah.
Now, I've always thought that on the whole, folk clubs in the north of Manchester have never been quite as successful as those in the south. Am I right or wrong, do you think?
I wouldn't have said so, particularly. They run differently somehow. There's a very distinct difference between a South Manchester club and one in the north.
What do you reckon that is?
I think there are some very strong traditional clubs in the north of Manchester. Bury Folk Club, obviously, is the one that comes to mind. I mean, that's a very long-running club.
It is, and a very successful one. I hope people in Bury didn't take that as an insult when I said that, because it wasn't meant to. I'm just trying to be a bit controversial. Obviously, there are some very, very fine clubs up there.
I think if we look at where we get most of our work, it's really from the Yorkshire area, and we seem to be very popular in Scotland.
I wonder why. Yeah. Anyway, the track that we're about to hear now actually includes the title of the LP. Would you like to introduce this one for us?
Well, it's a song called White, which is from the original Sacred Harp, the Book of the Sacred Harp, book of gospel songs, and it includes the line "a long time travelling," which is what we've been as a group, and also the title of the album.
And let's hope you continue to travel a long time more.
Thank you.
Shall we give this one a spin then now? Do you want to say anything else about it?
I would just make a comment. There was a programme on the TV the other night which was entitled "And They Shall Take Up Serpents," and some of this type of music was sort of milling around in the background whilst the film was being shown.
Oh, and we probably have the title for the third Jolly Jack album then.
Maybe.
He speaks with forked tongue.
All right, let's hear it. White.
I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down. Ye fleeting charms of earth, farewell, your springs of joy are dry. My soul now seeks another home, a brighter world on high. I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down. Farewell, my friends, whose tender care has long engaged my love. Your fond embrace I now exchange for better friends above. I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down.
Have you ever thought of recording any of Jake's material?
Not particularly Jake Thackeray, he's not really.
And don't come up with the obvious reply, no, he doesn't do any of ours.
No. I can't really see us doing Sister Josephine or anything like that. Though.
Excellent songs, aren't they, though? I mean, Sister Josephine, I think you're right now about the McCalmans. I think they were right to leave it in. I think you would be better leaving that one out. But
Yeah. I think the way we are,
not for us, perhaps.
we like to come over quite jolly in between songs, and we take the music side of it very seriously. And I don't think we've ever considered...
We don't do humorous songs at all, do we?
Not at all, no.
Haven't done.
Well, I must say that we've come to the end of the show and I've had to actually start the last track playing now. So, would you like to make an announcement, Martin, as to where you can get the record from?
Any Virgin shops,
Decoy Records.
from ourselves, of course, around the circuit.